Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, March 1st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see will also be changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, LHDX. Huge move today. Congratulations to anybody that watched yesterday's video, was talking about this one, to keep an eye on it. And late day today, not necessarily late day, but mid-afternoon, you can see there was this trend line that was forming and got the trend line break right there and then never looked back. Just a huge move in the upwards direction. So certainly, updates need to be made on this one. So first update would be the key level of support now moving forward. And I would call this right here at this previous breakout point down around the 75-cent mark. I'm not saying the price is headed down to 75 cents, but I mean, even if it did, and the price bounced around, I mean, think about what you would still have from the bigger picture point of view. You'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there. You'd have lows down here. And if you envision each one of those as stair steps, then again, from the big picture, you'd still very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction, which just shows how powerful today was for the price to be able to drop all the way down there, yet from an overall standpoint, still have a plenty bullish chart. As far as areas of resistance, nothing fancy or complicated here. Very straightforward. Just a question of where did the party and momentum finally stop today, and that was up there at $1.17. So keep an eye on that level. But all in all, monster move today, monster volume. Let's see if this momentum carries into Wednesday. Next one here, AMC. I lied in yesterday's video. I said that it was having earnings after hours, but I was mistaken. Today, after hours, will be earnings. So overall, a couple of updates regardless of that, though. And the first big breakout area to watch very closely on the earnings is going to be $8.40. So if the market likes the earnings, then $8.40 is going to be a very interesting dynamic here. And then this trend line here is interesting because for the most part, the price has been doing a good job holding up above it. Granted, right now, as I speak, the price is slight down below there. But with earnings, that can change very quickly in either direction. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of the trend line because sure, it matters, but at the same time, it doesn't because earnings, the price is certainly going to separate either direction from there. If the price does come to the downside, then overall, from a bigger picture point of view, then you want to see that purple line there continue to hold. 50 period moving average right now valued at 670. So in my mind, there's two main levels that stand out from an earnings standpoint. First key level of support being that 670 mark, and then the other key level from the resistance standpoint being up there at $8.40. So like I said, going into earnings, where does the price go relative to these areas? Can the price break through either of these areas? It'll be a very interesting time as always with earnings. So grab some popcorn, grab some Sour Patch Kids. Next one, CDIO, and I really like this one because it's got a pretty well-defined breakout area where, yeah, there's a big move. Sure, there's a bit of a pullback, but now with the sideways movement, in my mind, 365, a very interesting level with the key support being down here at $2.95. And it's really a basic premise. Price made a huge move up, obviously with the gap, came down, but didn't crash and has now started to go sideways. So the question just becomes, all right, well, is this sideways movement the official bottom? Is this thing going to get ready to pick back up momentum and then carry on through with the upwards momentum? And while nothing is guaranteed, in my mind, that is a more than plausible thought process that could very well be beginning to happen with the price now going sideways. I need to be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because the price pulled back and it started to go sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed the pullback's over and that this is for sure guaranteed going to go upwards. I'm just saying it's a plausible thought process to have. So if you like this price range, if you like to play these sorts of formations, then yeah, definitely keep an eye on that 365 mark. Next one, BOIL, and started off very rough on the day. I should note this is an ETF that follows natural gas with the movement down here. So early part of the day, like I said, it started off rough, but to be fair, maintained beautifully above those moving averages, turned itself around. And now we have the exciting question, because we have the price right up here at that area of resistance, which will mean a bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video. But if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that red line here and just the power of charts. You can see that the price has really been struggling up around that area. But like I said, you now can ask the question of, is this level going to break? Which is always an exciting when you're talking about, okay, is there going to be another breakout occurring? Good question to be asking. And then the follow-up question of, if it does break, then you get to ask maybe the even more exciting question, okay, it broke, but is this the start of something even bigger? So keep a close eye on that 668-ish mark as that main area of resistance. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level there as it served its purpose. From a support standpoint, then as these moving averages have shown us, just continue to watch those ones, mainly that purple line there, 50-period moving average, now valued at 595. In the event this is the start of a bigger breakout, then the next key area of resistance after that would then be up there at that area, which sits at $6.90. So overall, the uptrend continues. Very nice recovery today. So let's see if this momentum carries into Wednesday. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and not really a whole lot to talk about in this one, assuming you watch the other video, because the levels that I talked about previously still do pertain. Now, both did come into play here today. You can see that market opened up above that area of resistance, but that didn't last long, and the price flushed and came all the way down here, but surprise, surprise, look right where it bounced, essentially right at that green line, before bouncing all the way up there, not quite hitting that red line, but close, before coming back down and not quite hitting that green line, but close. So like I said, that's my long way of saying that both levels I talked about previously still are going to be pertaining going into tomorrow. So 210, still that main level of resistance. And then down here at 204, still that main area of support. And you got to think that a lot of people will be watching those levels even more so now. So you can start to introduce that talking topic of, self-fulfilling prophecies and all that sort of good stuff. But anyway, look at it. These are going to be levels that, at least in my opinion, are going to carry a lot of weight. So we'll see how the price behaves and interacts with them on Wednesday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency to manage risk, then get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then I definitely want you to get signed up for the free class. Next one, BBBY, popular one, and something that I haven't done for a while, but because it's popular, I just want to quickly touch base on it in terms of just there's a very quick, straightforward way to watch all this, and that is in regards to that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, because that's truly been the key indicator. And what you want to see before you really start to talk about any sign of bullishness is, can the price at least get some closes above that level? Because there have been several times here, broke above it, failed, just rejected, broke above it, could not hold. One closed right there, a couple, but then started to fall back below it, try to get above it, failed, right there, got above it, failed. Then this morning, rejected right there at it. So you get the idea is, is something turning around? Are the bulls maybe coming back? Is there some sort of, any sign of upwards momentum? You just got to watch that purple line. In my mind, that is the key indicator on this one. And as you've seen, it's not necessarily a problem of breaking above that level, but as far as maintaining above it is where the chart has just failed time and time again. So like I said, I'm not saying that another nice move can't come. I'm not saying that this thing will never bounce again. I'm just saying I would be very skeptical of anything until the price can prove that it can get above that purple line and then stay above it. Next one, MULN, and after just getting beat down, you can see today actually some signs of life. Nice move up. But the question just becomes, is there any sort of genuine power behind this bounce? Because, I state the opposite when I say, yeah, nice bounce today, but is there any sort of true power? And in my mind, that's where this level here at 22 cents comes into play and is a must-hold level for the very same simple premise as this. I'm not saying this will occur, but for explanation's sake, if the price were to go down to 22 and then break down below it, what would you have at that point? You would quite literally have the price having gone right back to where it was. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength, genuine power. Whereas on the flip side of things, maybe the price comes down here, because nothing can go straight up, but comes down here, but behaves in that manner, and then starts to curl back upwards. But now all of a sudden, what would you have in this situation? Well, you'd have a set of lows right there. You'd have lows down here. And if you envision those as stair steps, well, now at least you start to have some progress in the upwards direction. And that's what a truly strong move is going to do. It's not going to go straight up, because nothing goes straight up, but it will show signs of progress, which again brings about the question, well, how are you defining quote unquote progress? And as I've said, 22 cents. So yes, nice bounce today, but is this the start of something bigger? Let's just see if it can show some signs of progress by staying above 22 cents. Next one, TRKA. Been tracking this one pretty closely, and after today's price movement, definitely a line in the sand has been drawn as far as supports are concerned, and that is this level down here at 36 cents. It hasn't been exact. You can see price went slightly below it here. Right there went slightly above it, but then right here hit it exactly. But 36 cents, whenever the price has been down in this general area, there have been buyers that have stepped in and bought, including the last 30 minutes here. Check it out. Price came down here, and then as I speak, very, very solid green candle here is now forming. So yes, people are willing to buy and then buy that much more to push the price back up. But moral of the story, 36 cents, very, very important level moving forward. In my mind, if 36 cents is tested and does not quite hold up, then at that point, price has a very high chance of going down and closing that gap down around the 31 cent mark. In terms of areas of resistance, Key level that you got to think a lot of people are now watching and drawing into place is that trend line right there, which as of now puts the breakout point right up around the 42-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. But in my opinion, at least the most interesting and important dynamic moving forward is that 36-cent mark continues to hold strong. Next one, BVS, crazy looking chart. I mean, that opening 30 minutes just straight up and then a slow and steady bleed right now. So this could very realistically be the beginning of the end. Maybe this thing was just a one-day wonder and it drifts back into oblivion. But I mean, maybe it's not. And that's the whole idea of a watch list, is to find unique, to find interesting situation and not randomly rush out and buy anything, but to watch it and see how things play out. So a couple different ways you could play this one, or at least consider, because I realize everybody's strategy is different. But maybe if you're some sort of breakout player, I can see people putting in a trend line right there and looking for some sort of turnaround back up through that area. That seems to have plausible sense. But the other way I could see is people saying, well, I want to see this thing get even uglier. I want to see this pullback get even deeper. And I'd be looking to buy down around not only the lows of this former candle, but also where you have these key moving averages, the 200 period and the 50 period moving average, all being basically, clumped up in the same general area around that $1.73-ish mark. So I could see people also wanting to potentially play a pullback right there. So like I said, an interesting looking chart, a unique looking chart, but definitely has presented a couple different angles, perhaps, depending on your strategy, or, if you don't like stocks down in this range, then obviously this one's not going to do much for you. But if you do like sub $5 stocks, then I definitely keep a close eye on it. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to rise, this one will also rise. It just allows you access at a much lower price point. And not a whole lot of new things going on here, sort of like I think it was Tesla, where the level that I talked about previously still pertain and still came into play today. Mainly that green line right there at 2205. Good job of holding that support. Not only did it hold as support, got a nice move in the upwards direction, although as I speak, you can see very, very rough afternoon here for the NASDAQ, as the price has fallen basically all afternoon long. But to be fair, the price has still managed to stay up above that level right there, although it's close, which brings about the first key question is the price is well within striking distance. So is 2205 going to hold strong, or is the price going to break? If it does, then it starts to go down in this territory of the chart, which of course, no guarantees, but I could realistically see the price picking up that much more downside momentum and then potentially visiting this 2135 mark represented by that green line down there. But if the price does get to bounce back upwards, then from the overarching standpoint, as I've talked about in past videos, still all about that trend line right there. However, in my opinion right now, key priority and public kind of concern number one is what's going to happen with this downwards move here. No doubt about it, quite a bit of downwards momentum. Does that area of support hold? Does it not? We'll have to see what happens, but certainly some very interesting dynamics. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be very soon, Thursday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Say hi, leave a comment down below, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow, and hit that like button. Those two things go a long way, and I really do appreciate it. It helps out the channel quite a bit. So again, get signed up for that free training. Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.